is neglected, and your neighbors will start taking care of your family. And that will be a disaster. And if you forget your job and try to focus on family and PIM, then you will get fired very soon. And you have economic challenge. Then if you neglect PIM and focus on your job and your family, then of course we will take care of it, and then you will be in deep trouble. Okay. Hi. So then we would need to balance all three fronts. You need to have your focus on PIM stuff, the new discovery in terms of learning, quality time for that, and quality time for your family, and quality time for your work as usual. So balancing is one challenge during this year, isn't it? So that's where my wish is, may you have a balanced approach. So with that, let me move on to talk about the topic assigned to me, the first module, managing organization. But before getting into the nitty-gritties, just a quick check. How many of you have seen me in a session before, apart from the inauguration? How many of you have been to one of my training programs, lecture, or a seminar before? How many of you have seen me in social media, YouTube in particular, before? How many of you have seen me in a session for the very first time? Thank you. So for the benefit of all of you, then I have a duty to introduce myself. So my name is Ajanta Dharmasiri. I'm a lifelong learner. I consider learning is from womb to the tomb. Divitura, Divipura, we need to learn. So my designation is Senior Professor in Management, the very first homegrown Senior Professor at PIM. So my association with PIM goes back to 25 years. First as a student, then as a visiting faculty, then as a consultant, senior consultant, senior lecturer. Then they suddenly make me acting director. They were not sure whether I would survive. And I determined to be an active director. And then they made me confirmed. So I had finished 3-year terms 2 years ago. So I finished my almost 7 years as a PIM director. And we did a lot of things together, including taking MBA to 6 international destinations: Dubai, Doha, Muscat, Oman, Manama, Bahrain, Kuwait City, Kuwait, and Dhaka, Bangladesh. And then, of course, we added recently Chinese executive MBA as well. So that's PIM, and Price is my summer home. I used to go every summer to teach international human resource management. That relationship began with the Fulbright postdoctoral fellowship way back in 2009, and thereafter every year they invited me to come and spend 1 month during summer, and they call it summer intersession in teaching international HR. So that relationship continued for more than 10 years until Donald Trump came and changed the immigration rules. And that's very difficult now to get J1 short-term scholar visa. Of course, I can go to US, but then they can't pay me. So there's no point me pocketing out my money and going to US to do charities. So that relationship is having a challenge now. So CMI, I'm the current president, Chartered Management Institute, UK. They have branches in Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, and Sri Lanka. So I'm the current Sri Lankan president of CMI Sri Lanka chapter. CIPM, I'm a past president and now part of the College of Past Presidents. So I'm the common eye of PIM, Price, CMI, and CIP. A simple, humble human being. So these are some of the things that I had been doing in print media, social media, electronic media. I write a column every Sunday Observer. If you read Sunday Observer, you see my column. And I write a column to Daily Financial Times every other week. I hope you read this stuff. Daily FT, absolute must for a MBA, Daily FT. And some of the things that I did in local, regional, and global arena. And these are the 10 books that I've written, 2 in Sinhala and 8 in English. The latest one came as a compilation of my columns, Strategic Style. Point taker, make a name. So these are the glimpse of my international consultancy and training. I did sessions for 25 countries. You can see from the costumes. Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Brunei, Maldives, Bangladesh, China, Nepal, and I enjoyed being in Fiji. I'm in a traditional dress, Fijian dress. Fiji is a beautiful island with beautiful people like Sri Lankan. And my latest was in Oman. I did a program for Al Amur Engineering Company in Muscat, Oman, where they were really smart ladies wearing traditional costumes, but they were very, very sharp and smart. But some refused to come for a photograph. Traditionally, they are not comfortable in taking a photograph. So only part of them are here. So this is my experience. And these are the glimpses of my summer teaching. When the summer is still cold, I get into very formal time. And when the summer gets really hot stuff, I get into a pair of shorts, which is quite common in US, where professors come in pair of shorts with a can of Pepsi, or they have something called Dr. Pepper, sweetened cola like Kick Cola. Very informal, interactive arrangement. So lots of memories. And on top of that, coming from a rural area, in going to Suddha's country like Game Kolla, teaching them in Suddha's language gave me additional satisfaction. That's how I look at my US connection. So this is a session I did in Bangkok, Thailand. I took the excise department, Surabadu department, together with some Thai excise officials, trained them on management and leadership. It is a World Bank funded project. So the World Bank gave them a choice to pick an overseas destination. And they unanimously picked Bangkok as their preferred destination. I was so wondering, why so sensational in Bangkok? So I asked them, and they said, so you know, there are so many Buddhist temples in Bangkok. Buddha Priti and Pirila, Bangkok Nagare Bala Gaman. But don't ask me what they did after the training. There is their business, not my business. So that's all about me. I have put the heading, knowing each other. We want to discover one another because we are going to spend one team together, isn't it? 10 3-hour sessions. So that's a term that Dr. Asanga used on Saturday, learning partners. You all are my learning partners. We learn together. We all partner to learn something new, isn't it? So it's the adult way of learning. I'm not as an expert like a guru and all of you are goaler, a big gap. No, we have to interact with one another. It's learning in a relaxed, fun manner. All right? Happy? Good. We need to have some ground rules. Come. So I think as the announcements were made, the thumb scanning will happen. Please come and occupy anywhere. Thumb scanning, you will get your thumb scan next week. You will get your textbook next week. And you will have your printed ID card next week. And once you do that, I would suggest once the session begins at 5:45, avoid the front door and use the back door. You can come and thumb scan and use the back door to come in without disturbing the front. We'll make it as a habit. And then I would suggest not to get late because you will be the loser. Try to be here by 5:45. And certain days we give breaks, but today I was asked to go on a straight run, send you off early, being the first day. So we'll have a straight run and finish early so that you could go home early. Otherwise, we'll take a halfway break so that you can interact with one another over a cup of tea, coffee, and then increase your network. And they say your network brings your net worth, isn't it? So it's going to be a wonderful network. Okay? Right. So before moving forward, I know it's a challenge to ask each one to stand up and introduce yourself. That will take half of the session's time. So, so let's discover people creative. Okay. So what's a good way? Let's go through English alphabet. A, B, C, D. A stands for accountants. How many accountants? Raise your hand. Accountants? Oh, a lot. Give them a big round of applause. And B stands for bankers. How many bankers? All right. 2 bankers. Then you are from? Chanchari. You are from? All right. Give them a big round of applause. C stands for customer care people. How many are into customer care? One. Only one and only customer care. Give her a big hand. Give her applause. And D stands for directors. How many are directors of organization? Directors. 1, 2, 3. 3 directors. Give them a big round of applause. And E stands for engineers. How many engineers? Oh, a lot. Shall I give them a big hand? We're going to applause. And F stands for fantastic people. I know a lot of you are fantastic people. FG stands for ground handlers. No, I don't know. The ground. GH, HR professionals. How many HR people? HR. All right. Give them a big hand. We're going to applause. I stands for ICT, Information, Communication and Technology Professionals. ICT. ICT professionals. One, two. Only two. Usually we get much more than that. Shall I give them a big hand? We're going to applause. J. J stands for junior people. I know you are senior people. EFIJ. K stands for knowledge seekers. Now all of you are knowledge seekers. EFGHIJKL. Legal professionals. Legal luminaries. Legals. Legals. Only one and only legal. Give me a big hand. LM. M stands for marketers, not marketeers. That's the wrong pronunciation. Marketeers are like racketeers. Marketers. How many marketers? 1, 2, 3, 4. Give them a big hand. Marketers. MN. O. O stands for operational people. Operational managers. O. Give her a big hand. P stands for production. Production people. Factory people. Production. One and only. Give me a big hand. PQ. Q stands for quality assurance. Quality. There's one quality assurance. MN. PQR. R stands for, you can suggest. PQR. Risk analyst. Risk managers. No one. S. Sorry. S stands for sales people. All right. Give them a big hand. Sales people. PQRST. T stands for T. Okay, whoever is remaining, the remaining people, give them a big hand. Big round of applause. And I'm going to invite five volunteers to come forward to tell who you are. And one key factor, what is your uniqueness? We are all unique in the universe, isn't it? As I mentioned on Saturday, how many of you were there on Saturday? Inauguration? Good. So we are unique in the universe. There's no other me, there's no other you, there's no other you in the universe. So what's your uniqueness? What's your speciality? So let me begin. So my speciality, I did engineering at University of Moratuwa. Then I shifted to human resource management. I was at Unilever and few other places. And my last job was at Nestle at the head of HR. I was a plant engineer at the beginning and I was handling HR at the end. So I have transitioned myself from being an engineer of electrical to an engineer of hearts and minds. I give shock waves to people occasionally. So that's my unique. How about you all? 5 volunteers. And may I warmly welcome the virtual participants also. Virtually. And they also can please interrupt me at any time. Please show that you are still alive. Sometimes the virtual people can connect and do many other things without participating. So you have to show that you are still alive by contributing. All right, 5 volunteers. I can pick a victim, but I prefer volunteers. 5 volunteers to represent the weekday batch. MBA 2024 weekday batch. Yes. Stand up and tell who you are. I think she deserves a good hand for standing up first. Cinnamon Life. Yes.
Hi, I'm Yasasi.
Yes, sir.
Yasasi.
Yes.
YASASI. I have a hard time explaining my name to people. But yeah, I am the Assistant Director of Finance at Cinnamon Life Integrated Resorts, the pre-opening hotel. We are due opening this year. This is the largest.
Long overdue, isn't it?
Long overdue, yes, but finally this year. So we are the largest private sector investment in Sri Lanka, backed by John Keel's group. And I have been privileged enough to be a part of the pre-opening team. I've been with John Keels for about 7 years now, plus. I am very passionate about dancing. I've completed my Bharatanatyam Arangetram diploma long time back, and I've continued.
It's a great sign because we are going to have a residential program. So you will be a good dancer in the residential program. Interesting.
Right. Yeah, I recently took part in John Keel's event as well. And I'm also
see a finance person being a Bharatanatyam dancer. See the balance. Fantastic, isn't it?
And also a netball player.
Oh, wow. Give her a big round of applause. Unique, really unique. Thank you. Next volunteer. Next volunteer. Hamadavana, Hamadharman. Next volunteer. I can pick a victim, but I prefer volunteer. Next volunteer. Yes, please. Pass the microphone to the lady in the back. Shall we keep one mic in the front and one mic in the middle? Yeah. Please tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Getsia.
Gets,
Getsia.
yeah.
I'm also from the John Kills group. I'm from corporate finance.
Mhm.
Happy to see someone from the group in the batch. And I am quite new to the work uh, world because I got my bachelor's very recently and I wanted to start an MBA right after so that I can
So where did you do your bachelor?
at Japura.
Japura. All right. Our parent students.
Yes. And I specialized in finance. Something interesting about me, I sing a little bit, and I
So we
also
have a dancer and a singer. Wonderful. Isn't it?
and I
Good
also
combination for the residential program. Yes.
I also
So you sing whatever. So what's your genre? What's your specialty in singing?
I sing only Tamil songs,
Tamil songs, right?
and I know a little bit of Bharatanatyam.
So you sing the Roja movie songs? Sinna Sinna Asai?
Yes.
You sing it. Okay.
Yeah, that's about me.
All right. Wonderful. Shall we give her a big hand? Now we have two finance professionals. So third one, please, has to be non-finance. Yes, please. Pass the microphone to the front. Ah, yes, I think he has already got the mic. So we will go for you next after him. Yes.
Hi, I'm
Yes.
Sushanta. I'm manager HR at Jet Holdings. So I done my HR in CIP in completed and I'm
You are a chartered HR professional?
Yeah.
Okay.
and I really keen to learn things more in the management and solving problems and with people matters. So those are my expertise and in myself I'm a rugby player in past and I really like to do a lot of sports and those are the my
All right. If you have any painting requirements, you know who to contact. Give a big round of applause. And they have a beautiful office in Talavathukode, isn't it? I was there recently. Okay, please. To you.
Hi, I'm Tyagi.
Yeah.
Tyagi.
Yeah.
So I work in my family business. So I'm the COO of the company, which
Chief Operating Officer.
is founded by father.
So what sort of business you are into?
I like to event management,
Event management.
corporate events, wedding planning, and also BPR activation.
So now you don't have to worry about your wedding. Someone is there to plan for you.
I'm a graphic design and studied at university.
That's where Linda Spelderwin. She's one of our proud products. She did MBA at PIA.
So after a little while, I realized I'm a people person as well. So I also got experience into marketing. I worked in digital marketing and I also completed CIM. And I was also the vice president membership of the Colombo Toastmasters Club. And I recently joined working with my family business. So I hope this program will help me get overall knowledge and experience.
Fantastic. Give her a big round of applause. Next to go, two more opportunities. Yes, please pass the microphone. Let's see who she is. Yes.
Hi all, I'm Supeshala and I work as a senior software engineer at WSO2. It is
Web Service Oxygen, isn't it? WSO2.
That's
Yes.
that's one of the largest IT companies in Sri Lanka. And one thing that is interesting about me is that I'm into art therapy.
Sir, into
Art therapy.
art therapy. Interesting. So what do you mean by art therapy?
So that's reducing your stress levels and trying to focus on your whatever the goals you have without
I think in MBA, you might need to consult her.
without losing your focus on whatever you're doing. And it's actually very interesting. There are different mediums in which you can express how you feel and, let it all go. And yeah, that is what I do.
Fantastic. Give her a big round of applause. Final opportunity. Final opportunity. See the diversity in the. Okay, there are three hands. I never say no to people who raise hands. So three more people. So that's final. Yes, please.
Hi, sir, and hi, everyone. My name is Mayur Asian. My hometown is from Trincomalee, and I'm working at BCAS campus, Kolpiti. And my unique.
Is there one Professor Hiriburegam, a former UGC chairperson, BCAS
Yeah.
campus?
Yeah. The uniqueness I want to mention about me is I have worked in 4 banks. The first one, People's, Ceylon Bank, HSBC, and BOC.
So
After-
government and private both.
After finishing my A-level, I went to People's Bank, and then after the training, I went to University of Jayawardenapura. During the internship, I went to Ceylon Bank. After that, I left from there and joined BOC. After that, I also left there and joined HSBC. Finally, I found out that banking is not my cup of tea.
Oh, right.
And then I
You
joined,
you spent such a long time to find that.
yeah. Finally, I joined as a lecturer
Okay.
in BCAS campus.
Interesting. So you want to have an academic career.
Yeah.
All right. I think MBA will help you a lot.
Yes.
Shall I give him a big hand? Big round of applause. Yes. 2 people raise the hands here, and you will be the final. Yes, please.
Hi all, I'm Harun. Harun,
How?
HAROON.
Okay.
And Harun, I'm working at Colombo Dockyard as automation engineer. And you may know that,
Is there one Lal Hettiarachi?
yes, he's still our GM.
Oh, right. Lal Hettiarachi. He's my batchmate.
And so for those who don't know about company, it is one of Sri Lanka's largest ship repair, construction and heavy engineering industry.
They bring a lot of foreign revenue to Sri Lanka. And your head of HR is our PhD, Dr. Mangala. He did the PhD at PIM.
Last year he graduated.
He graduated, yes, at last convocation.
The unique thing that I can tell about myself is I like to cook.
Uh-huh.
The thing is, like,
Provided others can eat.
yeah, the thing is, I used to assist my wife
Oh, right.
making some special sweets and some Italian cuisine
She's
items.
happy about it. She has
happy
not delegated the kitchen to you.
Yeah,
not
most of the
like-
time it happens.
Be careful. Sometimes you might have to get the overloaded stuff.
Now, focusing on this one only, I am telling her that I'm trying to study now and I'm out of the kitchen.
Ah, right. Interesting. Shall I give a big hand? Big round of applause. Last but not least, there's a ladies first and now ladies last. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Sugita De Silva, and I'm the Grants and Partnerships Associate for the MAS Foundation for Change of my MAS Holdings. So the uniqueness is itself my job, the path I have chosen. I'm a scientist. I hold a bachelor's degrees, honors degrees from University of Sri Jayawardenapura. Then I have chosen this path.
Which part of science? Is it biology or physics side?
Biology.
Biology.
So my job is we at MAS we have a plan for change. We are going to finish implementing it by 2045. We were recruited as scientists, so we can couple our knowledge in science to incorporate into environmental sustainability coupled with social sustainability. So I'm looking for gaining experience to give it more value with managerial exposure and the skills I will acquire from this MBA.
All right, shall I give her a big round of applause? Thank you. I got involved in writing a case study about MAS. So very interesting, and how Mahesh Amalin created that. Mahesh, Ajay, and Sharad, isn't it? MAS, a wonderful global enterprise. All right, so I wish if I could give time for many of you all, but we will discover one another as we move along. So every Monday we will be meeting, and when we have the tea break, I'll be sitting in a corner table and you can come and talk to me. Anyone is welcome. So you can contact me even before the session, after the session, anytime. I'll write my mobile number and my email address is there in the course outline. I'm sure you would have downloaded the course outline. So my mobile number is note 77 again 77 666 87. And you will realize in most of the times I might not answer, but that's all right. Then I know who has called and I will call you back later. And or you can text me through WhatsApp. Then I know you have a and always put your name so that I could call you back or I could respond as a text. 0 477 666 86. Okay. Right. Anything more? Any other ground rules? And Dr. Asanga Ranasinghe insisted that he wanted me to convey this message as MBA coordinator very clearly, not to encourage physical handouts. Because we want to be planet friendly, eco-conscious, and we prefer you bringing your smartphone, your Galaxy Tab, iPad or laptop. We want to be electronic, paperless. I know we have a challenge. We don't have enough charging stations. When I go to US, every desk has a plug. So we don't have that infrastructure, but you have to come with a laptop sufficiently charged, a tab or iPad sufficiently charged. So that's a challenge. But we don't want to patronize to the photocopying unnecessary. Sometimes there's a long queue near the so-called photocopy place. It's not officially part of us. It's an outsourced operation. And we don't subscribe to that. So first day it's all right. I can see some handouts, but you can bring a notebook to write any particular notes. But I would prefer if you can be more tech savvy because that's a new generation. Tech savvy, make it more e-learning related, more electronic related, isn't it? But one challenge is charging. So you need to get it sufficiently charged to last it for 2.5 hours. That's a challenge that I can see. All right. So that's a message I wish to convey very clearly. And I'm not responsible if there's any mistake in the printout or whatever, because that's not us. Okay, it's an outsourced operation. Clear? Right. So the road ahead. By the way, I used to have a kindergarten technique that has worked very well in the postgraduate level. So what is the kindergarten technique? Inviting the learning partners to say certain things out loud. And when you say certain things out loud, it gets registered in your memory, isn't it? So shall we say 3 things which I mentioned at my speech at the inauguration? So the road ahead is to explore the fascination of management and expand the knowledge, skills and attitude and excel. Excellence is exceeding expectation. Raise the bar higher and higher and higher, isn't it? So what are the 3 E's? Once again, explore, expand and excel. So 3 key aspects. I'm very particular about these 3 in every session that I deliver. So what are those? First one, read out. Back to basics. So what are basics? And by the way, I'm not really delivering a lecture per se, because my definition of a lecture is someone stands behind that lectern, keeps on speaking, and the rest all keep on sleeping. Instead, I encourage an interactive discussion. We need to have an interactive discussion. So what is the fundamental requirement for an interactive discussion? It has to be one-way communication, isn't it? Someone nodding their heads. No, two-way communication. And don't nod your head for everything I say. It has to be two-way communication. So please stop me, interrupt me, ask questions, clarify things, seek further explanations. Then you will prove the point that you are still biologically awake and alert. I mean, I know it's a tough time after a heavy day. I see the difference between Sunday and Monday, because Sunday I see a very fresh faces at 8 a.m. And when I meet people at 5:45 p.m. on Monday, I see the difference. So I had to put more effort to keep you awake. That's a tough call. But anyway, we have to get the best out. Are we ready? So what are basics? Tell me. What are basics? You can shout out from where you are. Basics? Basics. What do you mean by the term basics? Basics? Come on. Essentials, very good. Essentials? Any other terms? Fundamentals, very good. Any other terms? Key ingredients, DNAs, building blocks. That's what we are going to talk about. You would have studied management in many other courses in undergraduate level, professional level, chartered, SEMA, and so on. That's all right. How many of you have studied management before? How many have not studied management before? That's equally all right, because we are going to have a different approach, practical approach, application-oriented approach. That's what I would recommend. So whether you did that before or not, it doesn't matter. As far as you capture what is relevant and essential to your work. So back to basics is not enough. You got to be brilliant on this. That's what Tom Peters, one of the veteran management thinkers, advocate. Say out loud, what is the second one? Be brilliant on this. And once you do these two, third thing will happen automatically. Build the business on base. During any crisis, be it nature-made or human-made, the companies that survived and thrived were those who were brilliant on basics. A crisis is an invitation to focus on your fundamentals and do the things properly. And it happened during the war. It happened during tsunami. It happened during COVID. It happened during post-COVID crisis we had. We had a crisis 2 years ago. We had long fuel queues, long gas queues, many other challenges. It is an interesting case study, isn't it? Case study ended up as a case study. Case study ended up as a case study. So that's what we had. So we got to be brilliant. So what are the three things? Shall we say once again? Back to basics. Be brilliant on basics. Build the business on basics. So with such a backdrop, let's talk about the nitty-gritties, technicalities. MBA 501, Managing Organization. Jude, shall we click? So let me recognize my good friend Jude, the host. Every session, since it's a hybrid session, there's a technical host helping me. So the course outline, I'm sure you would have gone through it. And our practice is before 3 days of the beginning of a module, everything is uploaded. Now you have everything in Pragya Learning Portal for the remaining 9 sessions. So all 10 sessions, everything is uploaded. So that's the beauty of it. So I remember during our time, we were given printed material, but we don't do that anymore. So let me go fast. We start today and it will go till end of March. So I'm meeting you, Group A, today from 5:45 p.m. And then course description is straightforward. Further down, MBA program learning goals, Dr. Asanga highlighted during the inauguration. Shall we read out just for fun? What are the 5 R's? Recognize, reflect, reach, realize, and reinforce. Further down, accordingly, the course objectives and learning outcomes are done, LOs. So we have learning outcome 1, learning outcome 2, LO3, LO4, and LO5. Further down. And then how they are connected to the national level learning objectives specified by the Minister of Higher Education. It's just a customary thing. We connect what we do with the national level requirements. Further down. And how they are connected to the 4 pillars of PIM strategic plan, the mission statement. There's a small error. Correct this as 4. Earlier we had 5 pillars, but recently we changed the strategic plan and now there are 4 pillars: learning, research, partnerships, and development. So how they are connected is given here. Further down, the course delivery and methodology, as you have seen already, is an interactive learning approach. So I remember always a lecture is what we had at undergraduate level in James George Hall, University of Moratuwa. Anyone from Moratuwa? So there are a lot of Moras. Moratuwa. So where the lecturer is on the stage, everyone in the audience, and they can go at any time, come at any time. Lecturer doesn't bother, people don't bother. So that's a undergraduate level. Here, it won't happen. We need to have everyone's focus, everyone's attention, and try to minimize walking out during a session. It's a disruption to others, isn't it? Some just run with the phone saying, I got a call. Say others that I am at a session and don't disturb me and don't disturb others. And by the way, keep your mobiles on silent mode, and some keep it in the vibrator mode, and then they also get vibrated when call comes. So be careful from that aspect. Okay, right. So course content, prescribed textbook, Richard Daft, New Era of Management. And you will get a complimentary copy of this. So Richard Daft is going to be your dearly beloved friend. And it will give you an additional exercise to carry it also a bit heavy. So bring it every day to the class. We are going to refer to it to do some classroom activity. So you will get your copy next week. And the study schedule, today we are starting overview of managing organization, quick overview of what it is. And remember, every day there's a learning outcome, key activity, and mandatory reading. Mandatory reading, the reading related to that particular topic. So from next week, I would expect you to read and come prepared. So that you would enjoy the session more. You would enrich yourself more. So read it before and come. They are all given in the Prajna portal further down. And then second, we talk about evolution of management thinking. That is next Monday. Then after that, we look at planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. 4 pillars. Then after that, we look at some associated topics like managing change, organization culture, balance scorecard as a progress tracking tool. And we end up with contemporary issues in management. It's going to be your show because we are going to look at some recent articles and try to relate what we have learned to those recent articles. So those are the session lineup. And you would realize that we can't do magic by covering everything under sun and moon during 10 sessions. So there are some areas where you need to read and understand. So I have given just 2 areas: ethics and social responsibility, managing challenges of diversity, and many other chapters we will not cover in the textbook. So textbook is for the entire 2 years for you to refer, to relate anytime. So we did a survey during COVID, whether we should give electronic books or printed books. To our biggest surprise, majority wanted printed books. Even though we want to be more eco-friendly, but the argument is when you have a printed book, it will be like a souvenir to keep. Scribble, highlight, underline. So you will get all printed books, 1 each for each co-course. So you will have that, and you can have a collection of those for the rest of your life. So that's the beauty of it, isn't it? And then scheme of evaluation for the scheme of evaluation. There are 3 evaluation elements. Plus 1, individual assignment. I will not give the details today. I don't want to put you into the deep end to see whether you will sink or swim. We will talk about it as we move along. It will earn 30 marks, individual assignment. Only requirement is that individual assignment should be your individual assignment, not some other individual doing for you. Why I say that? There are professional parties now coming very openly in Sunday Observer, Sunday Times, putting classified advertisements. Assignments are done by a nominal fee. There's outsource operation. They will do your assignment by charging a fee. So who will be the loser? They will be the winner. They will be the gainer. You will be the loser. You have to learn the art of writing a good assignment. You have to learn the art of doing a proper assignment. So I know it's your very first one. I'm aware of it. I'm conscious about it. So I don't expect perfect stuff. And don't worry. Do your best. Do your best. That's important. Okay? So don't ask others to do it for you. It will be a disaster, isn't it? And we know we also have some smart techniques to detect whether it's your work or someone else's work. Keep that also in mind. And second one is group assign. Group assign. So we will be putting you into subgroups. Has it already been done? I think Mr. Athuruli, our head of IT, would look at your profession. The idea is to have a professional combination. It will be 7 to 8 people in a group. So what happens is, otherwise, if you do it randomly, all accountants will get into one group. All bankers will get into one group. All engineers will get into one group. It will be utterly boring, isn't it? So we have to have a good mix. And some other considerations, like if there's husband and wife, we don't want to separate them by allowing them to go through a divorce. So we will put them together like that. There are other combinations also. So they will look at all those, and PIM will create your destiny in giving you the destined group members. PIM will do that, and it will be uploaded to Prajna Learning Portal very soon. So by next week, you would know who your group members are. So then develop contact with them and meet them, interact with them. You need more time outside the 2.5 hours you're going to spend here. You need to spend more quality time. If you go out, you can see the senior batch people are studying together. They bring their laptops and they use the study areas upstairs, downstairs, and so on. So you have to spend that quality time. And I'm telling you, that will develop a good bond, particularly in overseas programs. When I go there, they invite me to come for a dinner. And when the learning partners study, their family members, they have their own network. The wives, they have their own chit chat. And the kids, they have their own playtime. And it's a social network. And who knows, you might find your lifelong partner among the learning partners. Who knows? And that has happened in the past as well. So it's a good network. But again, one danger in group assignment, don't make the group assignment just one person's individual assignment. Why? I know there are some academically bent people who have more time, and others will feed them. They will give them complimentary food. They will give them complimentary transport. They will give other support and say, no, that's not going to work. Everyone should have a contribution. You have to divide the work and everyone should contribute, not to make it one person's task. And seriously, if anyone is not contributing, you have all the right to bring it to my notice. Don't allow anyone to be a freewheeler, just a passenger, just a free rider. No. Everyone should earn the MBA by putting their 2 cents worth, putting their effort, isn't it? So don't allow anyone to write on your hard work. So in group assignment, because 20 marks will be equally distributed among all. Everyone will get the same mark. So if someone has not contributed, I will not give any mark. So you have to make sure. So I always use the term PPP. What is PPP? Not private-public partnership. Positive peer pressure. Demand that everyone should contribute and give some task to handle. And one person can finally compile and collate the report. So like distribute the task among the people. To do that, you should know your team members and develop a network. You can have a WhatsApp group. You can have your own way of communicating, own meeting place, and so on. I know some people in your senior batches, they do the assignment here, then they end up in Otters. So they have high spirits there. So there are different varieties and different ways of doing different things. Okay, right. So individual assignment 30 marks, group assignment 20 marks, and there are due dates. We can negotiate many things, but one thing is non-negotiable: due dates. So I don't call them deadlines. Deadlines are deadly. I call them livelines, so timelines. Timelines are strictly respected because IT system takes care. There's uploading time. After that, it will not be allowed. So you have to be proactive rather than reactive. Rather than coming last moment, some people say, coming with a lot of grievances. My grandfather died for the 10th consecutive time, and my computer got stuck for the 5th consecutive time, and my hard disk stopped working for the 3rd consecutive time. So all those things, we are quite familiar with those. No excuses. We want excellence. Keep that in mind. All right. Keep sufficient backups. Save in more than one place. Simple as that. I do that all the time. When I do a serious report, I keep a backup somewhere. If the first one gets corrupted, at least the second one is there to refer. These are practical stuff. You have to be practical. And finally, exam. You get 50 marks. So to show that we are not examination oriented, we are excellence oriented. So examination will get you only 50 marks. It's continuous assessment. So I remember once when I started the very first session, after the session, one person came to me and said, can you give us a model paper with a model set of answers? My simple response, we are not a tutor. We are a postgraduate institute. Don't expect me to spoon feed you. I'll give you some focal areas at the end, and it's going to be a closed book, sit down examination. But don't expect model questions, model answers. We are not here to model you. You have to show your maturity next. So 30, 20, 50. Then you get 100. But one requirement, you need to earn more than 60% from the final exam itself. Minimum pass mark is 60, which is gettable, doable, achievable without any issue, which has been the case in the past, unless you decide otherwise. Unless you decide otherwise, it's possible. Do I see some worried faces? Stressful faces? No, let's enjoy the journey. It's a journey that you have begun, isn't it? Okay. Further down, the rest is very straightforward. Key learning outcomes, how they are connected. Further down, rubrics, very important rubric. When I had the open day, I met 5 people, including some of you all, I can see your faces. So 2 people asked me, how can I prepare for a merit pass? Very good question. I said, wait till I do my research. So this is how you prepare for a merit pass. The answer is given here. We give marks not by looking at your faces. We don't have any favorites. We are objective. So if you want to get your assignments more than 91, these are the things you need to be very serious about. And if you don't do that, you might have this. Therefore, each category, we have a way of categorizing, way of looking your value addition, and based on which we evaluate according. So if you want to have a serious effort in getting high marks, do this, follow this, and do this diligently. Further down. Same with the final examination, rubrics for final exam. It's an essay type question. We don't give multiple choice for you to do tactic to, no, essay type, paragraph style. So these are the ways you can earn high marks. And look at what you need to do, introduction and how you do the rest. So I'll leave it for you to read and reflect, isn't it? Rather than me going through each and every word further down. And then this is what Dr. Asanga mentioned at the inauguration, the grading scale. So you can be very clear of this further down. And supplementary readings. We have got only few books. There are many other books in the library. They are all available in the library. And journal articles. If you look at the list, some are old, but still gold. Some are very new. So it's a range of old and new articles. They are very, very good further down. And then we have plenty of web-based resources. We have subscribed to one of the leading research databases, EBSCO and Emerald Insight. And I think we are getting Science Direct Elsevier as well. So we have very good high-end research databases. So you can talk to Mrs. Carmeline Nicholas of the library, and then get the wide area network access. You can even remotely access some of the e-resources in the library. You can talk to her and get the necessary arrangements done. So use the library extensively. If I were you, I would come half an hour early and spend little time in the library to get the feel of the library. And if you have little free time, come during the weekend and spend little time in the library just to get the feel of it. And you will be given a library card, and you can borrow books, provided you return them on time. Otherwise, there'll be a heavy fine. Fine is extremely high because to discipline you, to make sure that you return the books on time. Clear? So that's it. Sorry, some more further down. The course evaluation, very straightforward. Quality assurance, academic misconduct. I don't expect you to do that. This bunch of very good people here. But plagiarism, we are having some precaution. Plagiarism, if you copy and paste without giving due acknowledgement to the original author, there's a way of detecting. We call it similarity index. In the undergraduate studies, we don't say we are copying, we say we do one-to-one. Both are bad. One-to-one is bad, copying is bad. So if you cite someone's article, you put the reference. And there'll be a separate section. I will not talk about referencing. In professional communication, you have it tomorrow or Thursday? Professional communication? Friday. So I think Mr. Jitendra Gunatilaka or Dr. Sakuntala Dureratnam or someone else would give you that input, how to do referencing properly, how to do citations properly, how to ensure that you recognize the original author. Otherwise, if you just put things without giving the due acknowledgement, it goes as plagiarism, copying without acknowledgement. So we are very serious about it. And our Prajna Learning Portal, one of the most sophisticated portals in the country, where we have embedded turn it in software. So if you are allowed to go up to 20% in similarity index. I saw some worried faces when I shared this yesterday with the weekend batch. Don't worry, 20% is more than enough. I'm telling you. Because they say some words are common, like postgraduate, so many cover page is common, some words are common. So you can easily accommodate all those into 20%. So in my personal experience, when I am evaluating assignment, majority gets similarity index 7, 8, 9, 10. So don't worry, 20 is more than enough. Unless you do something naughty, unless something do something nasty, it will go more than 20. So some people, you have to be little careful in getting your corporate documents. So one person had a sad note where he had copied from corporate profile or some corporate annual report or whatever. And that was highlighted because they have copied it from somewhere else. So be careful on that also. So the best thing is reword, paraphrase, rewrite, get the essence and write in your own word. Then you don't have any issue. Okay. And then this is the way we deduct. So it's beyond my control. I am not doing any deduction. Admin is empowered. They will look at your similarity index and they will do necessary deductions if required. That's what they do. So it is beyond my control because sometimes I get emails, pleading emails, grievances. So why my similarity index has gone up? Please bear with me. Please forgive me. Please pardon me. I can't do any of those. They're all admin stuff. And then mitigating circumstances. As much as I'm not tolerating indiscipline, but there are certain genuine cases. Now we had that inauguration of a lady expecting to deliver, isn't it? So a delivery. Let's say you are delivering a baby on the examination time. So we have to then reschedule your exam. Someone meeting with an accident and can't come physically to lecture. So those are called mitigating circumstances. If there's a genuine case, we go through case by case and you have to provide valid medical. Say there's a death of a family member suddenly. So we have to be considerate, isn't it? We can't unreasonably say, no, you have to come to lectures. No. So we are also human. So some human issues we consider in mitigating circumstances. So you have a genuine issue where you can't submit on time, we will give you extra time. Genuine case, not everyone. Not your laptop getting stuck. Okay. And then late submission policy. Even though I don't encourage that, honestly, I don't encourage that. Best thing is prevention is better than cure, isn't it? Submit on time, but with extremely rare case, if you are unable to submit, there's a penalty. For late submission, 10% penalty per day. So there's a logic in that. If you submit 10 days later, you get 0 marks. Every day, 10% deduction. So there's no point submitting 10 days later. So the idea is to discourage you to encourage you to submit on time. So, and also don't wait till the last day. Now, I have put individual assignment 23rd February. So some lawyers argue 23rd February means 11:59 p.m. on 23rd. So when you try to log in at 11:59 p.m., there's heavy traffic, congestion, system gets stuck. And don't complain that I could not submit because system was stuck. Do it some decent time, keep a gap. If I were you, I will do it one day before. Then if something goes wrong, you have little breathing space to adjust, to rectify, to do something. Isn't it? Don't wait till last moment. Sri Lankans are famous for waiting till when they announce elections, when they get the nominations. The nomination is closed at 12 noon. And all the heroes come at 11:55 in procession to give nominations. And they have to extend that nomination time. Isn't it? So don't do that. Give some decent buffer time, advance time to do that. Clear? Any questions? So that's it about the blueprint, the way forward. Any questions? You should be very clear about the way forward because this is the design of our delivery. Any clarifications, any issues? Anything? Are you sufficiently confused or thoroughly confused? Not yet? Happy? No. That's a very good question. Thank you for asking. We had this issue many times. In our institute, the policy is that first submission is the last submission. Because we had issues where when you submit to turn it in to check, and when you submit next time, the second one is compared against the first one. Then you get 90%. You can't check. You can't check. Sorry, some institutes allow it, but we were debating a lot. We were looking at, so you can't check. You have first submission is the last submission. So your genuineness, your sincerity is very much expected. But again, don't worry. At the very first modules, it will not be a big issue. Because for me, I expected only 5 to 6 references, not much. Plus one, maximum 5 to 6 references is enough. But as you move along, second year, final dissertation, it becomes fast series. You have to submit a printout of it, attach it, and there are other procedures. The final report, which will be 100 pages and so on. So that's much late. For the time being, you don't have to worry too much about it. Because the moment I mentioned similarity, some people overly worry. Some people, they have it like a sleepless night. When we had a residential program for one batch, they had a drama. They call it similarity index Maria. They have a toilet to chase off the similarity index devil. So don't worry too much. If you are genuine, if you do a genuine job, you don't have to worry. I bet 20% is more than enough. 20% can accommodate many similarities. Simple like that. Okay? Any other questions? Any other clarification? I'm not neglecting the backbenchers. You are equally important like front runners. And of course, the middle path people, Madhyam Pratipada. All are good. Any questions? Any clarifications? So far, so good? Right. Very good. With that backdrop, let's talk about only 3 virtual participants, isn't it? Only 3. Okay. So let's talk about introduction to management. That's a topic assigned for today. So what is management? What is management? Any thoughts? Any ideas? I asked from someone, is it management? Is management. What is management? It's management. What is management? Any thoughts? Any ideas? What is management? Sorry? Managing the resources. Good start. Managing the resources. Anyone would like to add more to that? You can shout out where you are. Having the basics right. Very good. Anything more? My question is, what is management? Sorry? Allocating the scarce resources to effectively. Very good word. Scarce resources effectively. Very good. Others? Management. Anything more? Management. Try to do the right thing right way. Interesting. Others? Anything more? I didn't hear anything from the backbenchers. Managing people, machine. You are talking about 5 M's. Machine, money, methods, material, and so on. Interesting. That's another way of looking at it. Okay. Anything more? To achieve the specific set of goals. Good, good. Right. So for me, I'm a simple person with a simple set of ideas. So I would dissect the word management into 3 parts. Man-age-ment. So man means it's all about people. It's a people affair. No people, no management. People fact. It's a people affair. And age, time related. Immediate, short term, medium term, long term. What you do with time. So what you do with people, what you do with time. And last part, month, is a suffix in English language. Develop, development. Entertain, entertainment. Manage, management. So month is action, action oriented. So people, time, and action. When you combine those 3 together, you get management. Management. So it might appear as common sense. Some people say it's common sense, but I would say there's uncommon search of common sense. It will appear as common sense, but there's such a depth and breadth involved with that common sense. That's what we are going to discuss. That uncommon search has begun. All right. For me, it's a process. So what is a process? Is it one action or several actions? series of actions. Are they interconnected? Leading from input to an output. Process. In singular, we use the word Kriya Valiya. When Kriya Valiya doesn't happen properly, there will be Valiyas. Process. So let's begin with the end. What is the end? As he correctly said, goal attainment. End is reaching your expectations, fulfilling your aims, goal attainment. That's the end. Then what is the beginning? You take inputs from the environment. So what are the inputs? Let's look at this space, land, building, equipment, computer, software, hardware. We bundle them and we use the word physical resource. Bautika sampad. And do you have physical resource in your workplaces? Of course, there should be. And do they fall from the sky? Asking Kadavatnad? No, then you need money. We call them financial resources. Financial resources. Then you have wide array of rules, regulations, procedures, instructions, practices, either soft form or hard form. We bundle them together and we use the term information resource. Bautika Sampad, Mulya Sampad, Toraturu Sampad. All those three resources are useless, meaningless if you don't have the most precious resource in any organization. So what is that? Human resources, the only alive and vibrant resource that can take command and control over the other resource. Only alive and vibrant resource. That's why they say people drive business. No matter whether you have all other three, if you don't have human resources, you can't do anything. And we saw that during COVID, isn't it? COVID really crippled our corporate sector because there was no critical talent available. And now we are having another challenge. Why? Talent migration. So a lot of people are leaving the country. And mind you, a lot of good people are. If the bad people are leaving, then it's okay. But the people who should leave are not leaving. They are still in Devar now. People who are who need to be here are leaving. That's the sad part. So what are the four resources? Say out loud. Physical resources, financial, information, and human. And we do four things. What are the four things? Planning, organizing, leading, and control. So I remember LOLC. Anyone from LOLC? So not LOLC, here POLC. And it reminds me coconut. Why? Polk. Polk. So say out loud. Planning, organizing, leading, controlling. Four pillars of management. Four pillars or four sub-processes. When you have a large process, you have sub-process or functions of management. And then twin requirements. What are the twin requirements? Twin E's. So what are those? Efficiency and effectiveness. So this is a broad canvas. This is a big picture. So we are going to have a deep dive into each of these during the next 10 sessions. Deep dive into these things and to see the realities connected to us, isn't it? Okay. So just to look at the four functions, planning is all about selecting the right set of goals. We are going to talk about in 2 weeks' time. And then organizing, assigning tasks, who is doing what. And then leading is to do, inspire, influence, coordinate, having the proper way of guiding and controlling M&M. What is M&M? Not the sweet M&M. It's all about monitoring and measuring, having right checks and balances, ensuring that you have the right things done properly. So those are the four functions. Any questions so far? All fine? Right. So let's talk about twin E's. Efficiency versus effectiveness. Are they same or are they different? Are they same or are they different? Are they same or are they different? How are they different? Efficiency versus effective. How are they different? Tell me. How are they different? So what is efficiency? What is effective? Efficiency versus effective. Efficiency versus effectiveness. How are they different? Tell me. What is the main difference? In Sinhala we say Karakshamatave and Sapalatve. What is the main difference? Anyone? So what is efficiency? What is effectiveness? How are they different? Yes, please. You want to say something? No? I thought you are trying to say something. No? What is efficiency? What is effectiveness? Anyone? Come on, give a try. Yes, please. Very good. Very good. Efficiency is resource related. Resource related. Whereas effectiveness, another R word. What is R word? Results related. Results related. Say 2 years ago, when we were having issue with fuel, long queues, we were worried about fuel efficiency, isn't it? Fuel efficiency. And some organizations, they were worried about cost efficiency, isn't it? Efficiency is resource related. Effectiveness, results related. And I think what you mentioned last about effectiveness, tell again. You said doing. All right. That's what Peter Drucker says. Drucker, not Dracula. Drucker. Drucker is a veteran management thinker. Drucker, D-R-U-C-K-E-R. Peter Drucker says efficiency is doing things right. Doing things right. Doing things right. Whereas effectiveness is doing right things. Doing right things. Are we clear? And when you combine, what happens? Can you afford to have effectiveness without efficiency? No. Can you afford to have efficiency without effectiveness? No. They are interconnected. So it is not efficiency versus effectiveness. The right answer should be efficiency plus effective. When you have E plus E, you get P. Productivity. When you combine the two, you get productivity. When you combine the two, efficiency plus effectiveness equals productivity. Paladai tave. Productivity happens. Productivity happens. So some of the so-called productivity experts who declare productivity month, productivity year, they don't understand this fundamental. You can't develop productivity without efficiency and effectiveness. Clear? So the first lesson you need to learn, you need to ask the question, am I efficient enough or am I effective enough? In turn, am I productive enough? Is the message clear? Just to illustrate it further, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm a storyteller as a trainer. So this story you would have heard many times. It's about Romeo and Juliet. I'm going to tell you the management version of it. So Romeo and Juliet were informal lovers, isn't it? So did their parents love their affair? No. Did their relations approve their affair? No. But they decided, come what may, let's carry on. Apiyamu ape gavana, lota hora ape padu. And they used to meet one another every night. So there were large mansions in this city of Italy. Large mansions. And large windows. Large, nice flower bushes either side of the road. So Juliet was waiting every night to see Romeo coming. She used to wait near the window. Till Romeo comes. And Romeo has hid a ladder. He take the ladder and kept on climbing till he reaches Juliet's place. And they just have a nice time. So one dark night, like a suspense thriller, isn't it? So Juliet was waiting and waiting and waiting. No signs of Romeo coming. She was so sad and she closed the window. And Romeo came rushing. He was rather late. And he took the ladder and he kept the ladder. It was so dark. He kept the ladder and he kept on climbing. Within shortest period, he was just up there. Then he realized, oh my God, I have reached the wrong window. Juliet is staying in the other side of the road. Is the scenario clear? Now tell me, was Romeo efficient? Was Romeo efficient? How many say yes? Why? Why? Within shortest period, he was up there. But was he effective? No. Why? He reached the wrong window, isn't it? Is that happening in our lives? We climb so hard and realize that we have reached the wrong window. It can happen with your team at home, with that also with your team at work. And some songwriters have captured that. Pemlo di du tu me over the ma andavuni. Wrong window, wrong ladder. And don't think too serious about it. So the idea is not just climbing the ladder, keeping the ladder against the right wall that matters, isn't it? Both are important. So climbing the ladder is efficiency, reaching the right window is effective. We need both, isn't it? So we're going to do a small table activity. Table activity where before that, what Peter Drucker says, efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing right things. When you combine the two, guess what you get? Read out loud. Doing right things right. Again, doing right things right. Then you get the right action, right result at the right time in the right manner. That's what we need. R, R, R. So we are going to do a small table activity about efficiency and effectiveness. And I think we need some energy for that, isn't it? We had been here for a while. So there's a good news. The plan has been changed. I got the information. The canteen is ready to gear for you. So we can have a nice cup of tea and have a nice mingling with one another, but maximum 15 minutes. If you come late, I have to keep you late. 15 minutes for your bio break and to have a cup of tea and to discover one another. So we'll take the break, come back by 7:25, isn't it? So did you enjoy the session so far? Then give a big round of applause to everyone. Big round of applause. See you at 7:25. All right. Some more are to come, isn't it? But I think we should start on time, isn't it? So, welcome to the post-tea session. Tepanin pasu tarangali tarabena. So the game begins after the tea break. This game is all about learning, improving, and excelling in the marketplace. So welcome to the second part. Give a big round of applause to everyone. Big round of applause. So we are straight going for a table activity, a discussion. To prepare you for the discussion, CATO puts a beautiful matrix, resource usage on y-axis, goal accomplishment on x-axis. So resource usage, efficient, inefficient, goal accomplishment, effective and ineffective. So how many possible scenarios you get? 4 possible scenarios. So what are those? These are those. Let's start one by one. Resource usage efficient, goal accomplishment ineffective. So it's like reaching goals without wasting resources. So let's take a scenario. I used to take this before the highway was built, Southern Highway, but still valid. Let's say you are working in Katunayak Airport and there's a meeting happening in Mattala Airport. So you have to go for the meeting and be there at 10 o'clock. So you send a request for transport department asking for a vehicle. So you come to Katunayak at 6 o'clock and you wait for the vehicle. 6 o'clock, no sign. 6:30, no sign. 6:45, no sign. Now you are very excited. And you call the transport department and they say, you are now really excited and really worried. And you think about parents of the transport department officials. And you call them and say, sorry, I don't have a vehicle to come. Please excuse. So you don't reach the goals, but we have not wasted resources apart from the 45 minutes of time. That's one scenario. The other scenario, so when you go to office, they have given you a super duper luxury Pajero, which does very little on fuel and highly fuel inefficient. And you have a very comfortable drive and you had a very important meeting, but you have wasted resources. They're like the politicians go on helicopters when they can easily go on the land route. You reach the goal, but wasted resources. And the worst case, so when you go to office, they have given you an old van, a real leather, and then you go halfway through, even before reaching the highway, the radiator starts boiling. You have to stop and allow it to cool down, and you get stuck halfway through. This damn thing doesn't even start, but you don't have any other way. So you call them and say, sorry, I got stuck halfway through. I can't make it. And you have wasted half of the day, even without reaching the goals. So this is bad, this is bad, this is worse. Then what could be the ideal? They have given you a diesel double cap, which is very good on fuel economy, and it's reasonably comfortable. And you have a good drive and you have a good meaningful meeting and come back without wasting. So efficient use of resources, effective goal accomplishment. So here I would introduce another term and you will learn it from Dr. Vijayavardhan, I presume. Economic analysis. You have a module, isn't it? Optimal use of resource. Optimal use. Right, but just needed. Optimal. Not more, not less. What is exactly required? Okay. So reaching the goals with optimal use of resources. So put a big right here. This is not recommended, this is not recommended, this is not recommended, but this is recommended. Okay. So what are examples? So I can give you PIM example. As I mentioned, I started my MBA in 1998 in this very hall. So we had a guy called Austin. He used to carry big bundle of psycho-style notes and used to wait near the door. And we come and pick one. He was like a tikka in tutoring. So all were psycho-style notes. And we decided 15 years ago, no more paper handouts. We created the Prajna portal and we uploaded everything to portal, PDF. So we reached the goals without wasting resources. And we had Dubai center earlier, physical center in Knowledge Voyage, sorry, a Knowledge Village in Dubai. Anyone who has been in Dubai? Familiar? So we had a physical center, which was hugely expensive and there were a lot of issues. And they had to close down the center. And people were asking, why not have the MBA again? So during my tenure, we brainstormed and we had a lean model. We don't have any physical administrative office. Administration is done from Colombo. We have a virtual study group. And we go and spend 1 day in a hotel and we do physical workshop and the rest online. So that we reach goal without wasting resources. So those are PIM exams. How about you? Share your success story with your table mates where you were efficient and effective. Don't worry about these three. Focus here. Share your story with others. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Share it with others. And I'll come round. If you have any clarification, please let me know. I'll explain. Final 1 minute. 1 minute to wrap it up. All right, time is up. Shall we give everyone a big round of applause? Big round of applause. I want 3 volunteers to share how you became efficient and effective. A story related to your past experience. As a manager, how you became efficient and effective. Success sharing. The pin drop of silence. When I ask for a volunteer, some look at the carpet as if volunteers are on the carpet. Some look at the ceiling as if volunteers would come down from the ceiling. It's among you all. I can pick a victim, but I prefer volunteer. Sharing a success. Volunteer number 1, please give the microphone to him. Give a big hand as he stands up. Please tell us something about you as well to begin with.
Sure. I'm Christopher and I work as a talent evangelist for a software company called Kelsey.
See the new designation, talent evangelist. Interesting.
Yes. But I'm involved in the marketing team and not the HR team. So it's more of a hybrid role. So one task I have is to build relationships with universities so that we promote our company to hire top talent. But the problem we have is all the universities reach out to us and they want sponsorships. So many events happen every month. So as a talent evangelist, I have to decide, okay, where do we put our resources to? So what I did
Prioritize.
last day. Yeah. So what I did last day was, since we can't sponsor all the events, I spoke to them and asked what are the other ways we can contribute? And always they have options to do workshops, to do tech talks and various other things. So what happens is sometimes we don't financially contribute, but our goal is to create brand awareness in the university students, build a relationship depth. So we still achieve our goal. We reach and promote our brand, but our resources are saved. We don't have to sponsor each event.
So you save your financial crunch, but you
Yes.
still contribute and you reach your goal.
Yes.
Is that a good example? Fantastic. Give him a big hand, big round of applause. Second opportunity, second example. That's from IT field, preferred from another field. Yes. Please pass the mic to the gentleman in the back. Please tell us who you are first and then share your experience.
Hello,
Yes.
I am actually biomedical engineer working in the demo. So I have a
And your good name?
Gamika.
Gamika, yes.
I am working with some special kind of machines called MRIs. It's a special tool we have to use. So we have a special set of tools we call a non-magnetic MRI tool. It's very expensive because it's use titanium material. So we go through our knowledge base and our documents, and we identify what are the tools that we don't need anymore, some kind of balance or some kind of tools. So we reduce that cost and we separately buy that tools to reduce the.
So you reduce the inventory cost.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you reach the goal where you supply to the hospitals and you
Yeah.
cater for the patients without wasting resources.
Yeah.
You have only the right set of tools now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a good example? Right, give a big hand to him, big round of applause. Third opportunity. Yes, we need to have gender equality. So two gentlemen and a lady here. Yes. Please take the mic because the mic is needed for the benefit of the virtual participant. Always keep that in mind. Otherwise, they won't hear unless you use the mic. Yes.
So I'm Imasha. I'm working for John Case Office Automation.
Oh,
and
so many people from John Kills. Interesting, isn't it? Yes.
so as finance manager. So I
Mhm.
want to give an example. So we also more towards to the we are renting machines on the print now, pay later.
That is Xerox. So what is your
Yeah.
brand?
Yeah, Xerox and kind of there are
Canon.
Exelon, yeah, and even Toshiba. So when it comes to that agreement basis, when you are providing machines, so once the agreement period is
So do you charge for the papers also?
yeah, some are coming as a contract basis, everything inclusive. Like
And do you
ATC.
provide an operator as well?
It's a online. Some are taking that facility in the agreement basis, so we are giving the service throughout that 5-year period.
Otherwise, their computers are linked to the photocopier.
Yes.
Online, they can print.
Print, yes. So when it comes to that kind of a machine, so once their capex life or something is over, so it's not kind of a reusable condition. So then we are taking that back to not to the inventory, but only the whatever the can usable spares we are taking into like a zero or kind of, because we need to have a kind of a margin into the inventory. So if it's because when it comes to Toshiba, they are not allocating 100% of the order. So when it comes to that, when we want to replace a machine to another like a customer, so we are using that spare parts to reach out the goals.
So like what Sri Lankan Airlines is doing with Airbus. You take one part from one machine and put it to the other one. So you have zero inventory machines as backups. You put
Yes.
those. So you reach your goal without wasting resources. Otherwise, the customers will complain, our photocopy machine doesn't work, it's stuck, and you are having readily available inventory. You go and do the need. Is that a good example? Right, give her a big hand. So I wish if I could listen to more people, but I think those three examples prove the point that we can be efficient and the first takeaway from today is how I can become efficient and effective in my daily work. As I mentioned on Saturday in the inauguration, classroom and workplace should be connected. So in your case, it's not MMR, but TMR, Tuesday morning relevance. So what you learn on a Monday evening should be relevant when you go to work tomorrow, isn't it? Tuesday morning relevant. So you can think of how can I be more efficient, more effective tomorrow. So can you do that? Ulambela. Can you do that? Are you willing to do that? Are you really sure? Are you saying yes because I'm asking you? I thought you'd say yes to that as well. Give another big round of applause to everyone. 3 levels of effectiveness. Effectiveness happens 3 layers, starting with individual, then interactive team, and the third level is institution. So taking a sporting example, take a cricket team. I always look at the World Cup winning team in 1996. If each batsman, each bowler, if they didn't do the role well, the team would not have been winning, isn't it? So the winners contribute to a winning team. Winning teams contribute to a winning institution. So the performance begins with individual. Effectiveness begins with individual. A motivated heart and a awakened head. That's what it's saying. But having said that, where would the targets originate? Where would the objectives begin? Where would the goals formulate? At what level? Institution level, top down, or periphery to the core. Periphery to the core or top down. But where would the performance begin? Center, bottom up, always core to the periphery. Targets top down, performance bottom up. Or targets periphery to the core, the performance core to the periphery. Keep that in mind. And sometimes the organizations invite me as a consultant. And one CEO said, can you come and help us change the organization? I bluntly said, you can't change organizations. He looked at me with surprise. So why did I say so? Change begins with a changed heart and a changed mind. So where would change begin? Not here, here. It begins with individual. For this to happen, there has to be one more I needed. Among the 3 layers, there has to be a strong I word. What is the I word? Among the 3 layers, there has to be a strong I word. Integration. Integration. Proper integration among the 3 layers. Otherwise, what happens? Sometimes the top is very focused, very strategic. At the bottom, they are just idling. Sometimes the top is robbing, top is stealing. The bottom is very committed. So both are bad. Integration matters. Integration among the 3 layers. Okay? Having said that, we have completed first part of today's session. Now we can summarize what management is all about. So what we mentioned so far, we can put as a beautiful narrative, a comprehensive story. Shall we read out? Management is set of activities including planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, directed at organizations, human, financial, physical, and information resources with the aim of achieving organization goals in an efficient and effective manner. Okay, Katandere, this is story. So this is the summarized version of management. But I can even further summarize by adding 2 words. Management is all about VC. What is VC? Not Vice Chancellor. VC. Any guess? Value creation. Value creation. I think I mentioned this in the inauguration as well, isn't it? Value creation for whom? Keyword, stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Who are the stakeholders? Employees, owners, customers, suppliers. Then you have regulators, the government, and many other interested parties. Those who are interested in your business, those who have a stake in your business, they are stakeholders. So you have to have stakeholder satisfaction, value creation for all, isn't it? Creating value. That's what management is all about. If you don't do that, what happens? Managers become damages, or managers become messengers. They don't achieve the expected result. Are we clear? So this captures the first part of our discussion. Any questions? Any clarifications? Any issues? So far, so good? Enjoyed the session so far? Right. So let's move on. human progress. Management is nothing new. It had been there from time immemorial. In the Stone Age, there was management, where people have to plan, organize, lead, control in getting their food, isn't it? So people are chasing animals. And we have come a long way. Instead of chasing animals to kill animals, we now go to Cargills or Keels to buy killed animals. In that long journey, management has always been there. In the agricultural era, how to plan your crops, how to plan your harvest. And then came industrialization, advent of factories, machinery, equipment, tools. You needed to handle them, isn't it? So management. And then there was this young chap called Charles Babbage. He saw his father being a bookkeeper, burning midnight oil, late night work. He felt sorry for the dad, and he invented adding machine, the press computer. And that heralded a new era called information era. And now we are into another era beyond that, knowledge era, innovation era, imagination era. And someone during the tea break came and asked me, is it all right to use ChatGPT? I said, fine. So we make it a point that we give assignments where ChatGPT cannot be used in most of the cases. So you can use ChatGPT, no issue at all. That's for knowledge creation. That's for learning something. For definitions, fantastic. Because we are in innovation. So I have embedded in my smartphone when I want to get a definition, it gives a beautiful definition. So we don't ask you to define management in your assignment. ChatGPT can't do SWOT analysis. ChatGPT can't do pestle analysis. So we are also smart in getting the use of ChatGPT, and we want you to do something else. So that's a good question this gentleman asked, but I think answer is also very valid. So use ChatGPT to learn. Absolutely okay. I'm a proponent of technology. We have to have technology. It's a fascinating tool. And with ChatGPT, we can learn anything, anywhere, anytime. That's the beauty of it. But assignments, we plan it such a way that it can hardly be used. That's a different method. So assignments are tested. They are test your application. Application. Clear? Okay. So my point is that management has been there right throughout. Right throughout. For example, in ancient times, if you look at 550 Jataka stories, technically there's only 547 Jataka stories. Bodhisattva is portrayed as a leader in more than 35% of the Jataka story, according to PIM research. Bodhisattva is portrayed as a leader. So there's one such case. Any explanation? What is the story? Vannu Patha Jataka. Hundreds of bullock carts were crossing a desert. They ran out of water, and people started complaining out of thirsty. And the leader summoned a team and asked them to go and find water. And most of them came empty-handed, except one person who saw a tiny plant coming from the soil. And they realized for the plant to come, there must be water around. They intensified their search. They came across a hillock. And when they put their ears into that hillock, they could hear water running underneath. And they dig a well, the water started coming out. So they could quench their thirst and resume the journey. See, power of management. Planning, organizing, leading, controlling. So we see management in Jataka story. From East to the Middle East, if you look at the Bible, Holy Bible, Old Testament, Moses taking the Israel people out of Egyptian slavery in the wilderness through the desert towards the promised land, 40 years. To handle people, I'm sure they would have needed planning, organizing, leading, controlling, isn't it? So it's a massive journey. So there are plenty of such stories in the Bible, all about management. And pyramids in Egypt. Anyone seen pyramids physically? Interesting, isn't it? So the sharpness, preciseness, accuracy, and there's a magnetic effect they say in the middle. That's why they are keeping the bodies preserved, the ancient kings' bodies. So what is the secret? So did they have sophisticated CAD/CAM, computer design, computer manufacturing? No. How did they do that? Management. How to handle people, how to get work done, how to design, they all manage. Think about innovations in China. And a lot of innovation they attribute to West, but they are in China. before. Take gunpowder. It was there in China much earlier than invention happened in Europe. Even today, China has the highest number of patents. It's not US. Highest number of patents every year are from China. So innovation. And that needs management, isn't it? Planning, organizing, leading, controlling. And don't forget our past, hydraulic civilization in Sri Lanka. How many civil engineers here? Civil engineers? Civil engineers? Not a single one. Come on. So we have to be proud that our forefathers. So when the universities were closed during JVP insurrection 88-89, I worked as a journalist in a science magazine called Vidusar. So I used to go and interview veteran scientists, veteran people. So one such person was Sir Paul Gibb. He was an engineer, civil engineer at Victoria Dam project, Balfour Beatty et al. So I was interviewing him. He said, engineering is in your blood. Your forefathers were great civil engineers. He gave example, the Bisso Kotur, how the flood control happened in the lakes, the tanks, and the giant canal, Yodala, 1 inch slope per mile. So how did they do all those marvels? They didn't have CAD CAM. It's all about preciseness, technology, knowledge, discipline, managing people, isn't it? So planning, organizing, leading, control. So management is nothing new. It had always been there. Clear? But having said that, there's a concept called modern management. Modern management. That's the story we are going to look at next week. Modern management. Emerge from industrialization with pioneers and what their contributions, how they shaped up the management thinking. That story we are going to talk about next month. Modern management. Till then, management can be viewed as human progress. Clear? Okay. The rest is very technical. Levels of management, very straightforward, isn't it? Top, middle, front line, they all managers. This is not management. Very straightforward. And you can have vertical designations, variety. CEO, top level, middle level, first line, and non-management. There are line jobs and staff jobs. What is the main difference? Line job means directly connected to the main business, co-business. Staff means supporting. Take a factory, then production is a line job or a staff job. Right. And take HR, staff job. So co-business connected versus supporting the co-business. So you can go through this leisurely. That's there in the first chapter of the textbook as well. In contrast, management types, horizontal. How do you describe? Functional managers and general managers. Who is a functional manager? Responsible for a particular department. Say a marketing manager in charge of marketing. Finance manager in charge of finance. HR manager in charge of HR. Whereas a general manager, responsible for several departments. Marketing manager, HR manager, finance manager, they all report to a general manager, overarching. So the good news of doing a good MBA is what? You will get open up to many areas. I joined MBA as an engineer. I did not study marketing up to that point. I did not study economics up to that point. I did not study operations up to that point. I learned all those things. So you become T-shaped employee. You have your speciality, now you broad base. You learn many other things. Then you are very much geared to become a general manager one day, isn't it? So that's the good news from a MBA. So I always recommend, don't do a specialized MBA, do a general MBA. So if you do MBA in project management, you get a further into project management. But if you do general MBA, you open up your horizon in becoming a general. Are we clear? Right. 2 more things to cover. Managerial skills. So what are skills? Nipunata, kusalata, what you are capable of doing. There are 3 types of skills. What are those? Say out loud. Technical skills, human skills, conceptual skills. How are they different? Technical, job specific. A marketer should know how to develop a brand plan. An accountant should know how to have a P&L, profit and loss account, how to have a balance sheet, specialized. Human skills, irrespective of your functional specialty, you need to know others, how to understand others, how to get work done, how to influence, how to motivate, isn't it? Irrespective of your technical specialty. Sad to note, some people are technically qualified, but they don't know how to handle people. I can mention many hospitals where the senior most technical specialized consultant gets the hospital directorship and they struggle. They don't know how to handle unions. They don't know how to handle conflicts because they have not been trained. So they have technical skills, but they lack human skills, isn't it? And then the third one is the deepest, conceptual, analytical and diagnostic, as well as envisioning the future. Analytical means scientists say you have the left side of the brain and right side of the brain. Left side of the brain is more logical, more analytical. We say logical left. And the right side of the brain is more rhythmic, more creative. And we say rhythmic right. Logical left and rhythmic right. Logical left and magical right. So you need logical left to analyze, diagnose, project, extrapolate, forecast the future. Whereas envisioning the future, being creative in develop a good vision, having a good dream for the future, having a good aspiration, they need creativity. That's right side of the brain. Clear? So you need to use your left side of the brain, you need to use your right side of the brain. But with the fundamental, what is the more fundamental requirement? More fundamental requirement. You need to have a brain. And even more fundamentally, it has to be in the right place. If you are sitting on it, PIM is not the place. You need to go to Asiri Surgical Hospital. Evan Duga Kadi Noyo. But the problem is, are we using the brain enough? That's another fundamental question. And by the way, the scientist who discovered the left side of the brain and right side of the brain was away from home for a long time. He was working in isolated laboratory, 3+ nights. And once he discovered this left side and right side, Eureka, he was so happy. He went home running and he told his wife, honey, I discovered left side of the brain and right side of the brain. Wife had a sarcastic look at him and said, your left side, there's nothing right. And your right side, there's nothing left. So that will happen to you if you overly get bogged down into MBA and you have a balanced life. That's the lesson. Are we clear? Right. So there's a very interesting comparison. How the skill types are connected to hierarchy. Top, middle, line. That's what Robert Katz way back in 1974, Old But Gold, mentioned. If you look at this diagram, you can make 3 observations. So what are the observations? Tell me. Observation 1. Some are making few shapes in the mouth. Tell me. Observation 1. What is? Irrespective of the level, proportionately human skill requirement remains same. So what is the beauty of it? You need to have human skills irrespective of your level. Every level you need that. But the nature of the skill would differ. For example, at top level, you need more networking skills, you need more communication skills, you need more public relations. Whereas when you come to bottom, so what type of skills? Disciplining, administering, maintaining, controlling. So the nature would differ, but requirement remains the same. Second observation. What about technical skills? The bottom needs more, obvious. But top also needs. There's a myth in the society. People who are at the high level, they say, I don't need technical skills anymore because I'm at the top level. That's a myth. You need to stay in touch, stay abreast with what's happening down. You need to have checks and balances. If you don't have that, you are in deep trouble. Stay in touch. Always keep up your technical skills, even though you are a general manager. That's why I said T-shape. Don't lose your expertise. Clear? So I can give you a global example and a local example. When BBC World Service, the head office is in Bush House, London, they had a major labor dispute, industrial dispute, salary dispute. And suddenly the operatives walked out as a protest. And there was a huge threat of BBC going out air, going off air. So the seniors came down and started operating the equipment. They kept the service uninterrupted. So what made them to do that? They had their technical skills. If they didn't have, they were struggling. They could have struggled. A Sri Lankan example. When I was at Nestle, we had a Swiss expatriate running the warehouse. He was in charge of the warehouse. So during festive time, during Christmas time, there's a huge backlog. There was a huge set of lorries. And they were waiting to get the goods loaded. There was a wedding of a forklift operator and there was a high absenteeism. The forklift operation went very slowly. So the Swiss guy saw this from his cubicle. He came down and he started operating a forklift. And he started putting goods into the lorries. And now people are looking at him with surprise. And of course, we didn't pay him a thumping salary to operate the forklifts. But what is the point? When the need arose, he was ready. He was capable. He could handle it. That's the point. So you need this one. Okay. Third observation is what? Top managers, do they need conceptual skills more? Why? They look at uncertain future. Future is not clear. Future needs to be created. But that is obvious. But what is not so obvious here? We think people who are down there, they are like messengers. They are like executors. We treat managers like messengers. We treat executives like executors. We think they are having only two hands. No, they have brawn but brain as well. Tap their brain, tap their knowledge, tap their expertise. They also have some conceptual skills. People ignore that. People underestimate. The best example comes from the Japanese workplace. So I think someone from Colombo Dockyard was here. They have some Japanese. So a Japanese workplace, they have a lot of techniques. Ishikawa, Kanban, Pokiyoki, Gemba, you name it, they have it. A lot of techniques to tap their brain. Even operatives have to use their brain. So conceptual skills. Are we clear? So look at your workplace and look at yourself. Are you having these three types of skills? Are you using them enough? Clear? So you can reflect it a lot. Any question? Yesterday, there was a very intelligent question someone was asking. If you take a consultancy firm, then level between top and bottom is very low. Do you still have this discrepancy? Not this much, but somewhat. Comparatively, it might be less, but somewhere the proportion will remain. Clear? Any other questions? Happy? Tired? Sleepy? I hope you had a cup of tea. Give a big hand to everyone. We're going to applause. Final topic, managerial roles. Did you have roles in the canteen? That is ROLLS. So this is a role. So what is a role? Henry Mintzberg puts it beautiful. Who is Henry Mintzberg? One of my favorite authors, a veteran management thinker. So easy way to remember Mintzberg is to think of Carlsberg, and instead of Carlsberg, think of Mintzberg. He says something very interesting. How does he describe a role? Shall you read out? Role is a set of specific tasks a person performs because of the position they hold. So I am holding the position of a senior professor or a resource person. Jude holds the position of a Zoom host. So he has a particular set of activities. I have a particular set of activities. So he plays his role. I am playing my role. So it's a set of specific tasks. Some are directed inside, some are directed outside. Any example of a role directed more inside in an organization? What could be a role? I know some are belong to that profession here. HR, people management, more inside. So some are directed outside. What are those roles? Sales, marketing, you are dealing more with customers. So either more inside or more outside. So there are three broad categories. So what are those? Shall you read out? Interpersonal, informational, and decision. Shall you go through them one by one? Okay. Starting with interpersonal. Even the very name suggests interpersonal. Something to do with people. So how do we describe? Shall you all read out? Roles managers assume to coordinate and interact with employees and provide direction to the organization. So Henry Mintzberg proposes 3 such roles in this category. So what are those? Starting with figurehead role. How do we describe? Sorry. Symbolize the organization and what it is trying to achieve. Say you represent the organization to the outside world. I'll give a real example. So when I was at Nestle Pannala, when Pannala Pradesh Sabha used to have their Single and Tamil National New Year Festival, they used to ask us for some milk. So we used to give some donation, milk. And they invite, as a customary thing, they invite someone from Nestle. And my boss was a head of technical. He was an Indian. So he used to send me, head of HR. So I used to go and represent Nestle in the Pannala Aurudu Ulala. So I represent Nestle. I act like a figurehead. That's the role, figurehead. You represent your organization to the outside world. Okay? Second one is obvious, leader. Train, counsel, mentor, encourage you, play the leader role. You motivate, encourage others. Clear, isn't it? Third one is very interesting. Liaison or liaison means what? Link. You link and coordinate people inside and outside. So you have a project team, software developing team inside, and there's a client outside, you link. And there's a project software development team, there's a quality assurance team, you link. Take a production example. You have R&D facility, you have production facility, and you have merchandise. You link the liaison role. Clear? So what are the 3 roles emerging in this category? Figurehead, leader, and liaison. Are we clear? Are you playing those roles? So let's see in a little while. Second category, information. Now you deal with information. How do you describe? Read out. Associated with the tasks needed to obtain and transmit information for management of the organization. So it is all information based. 3 roles emerging. First one, we call it monitor and not the animal kabargoya. No, there's a different meaning here. You keep your antennas and monitor. Analyzes information from both internal and external. Anyone into, I mean, those who are in the banks, are you into treasury? In treasury, they look at the currency fluctuation, the dollar versus rupee, and so on. That's monitoring. And those who are in the weather department, they all monitor the weather. And they say our weather forecast is there'll be heavy rains tomorrow, and chances are very high that there'll be heavy sunshine. But they use outdated equipment, monitoring weather. So monitor. And in HR, they monitor industrial peace. If there's if there are different unions, whether they will clash, and whether there'll be a conflict, so you monitor. Particularly during elections, you monitor the peace, industrial harmony. Second one, disseminate, sharing. Manager transmits information to influence attitudes and behavior. You share. Have you heard this very common occurrence? Say a managing director or a CEO goes for a very expensive overseas training program to Harvard, to Stanford, and so on. And the person comes back and shares some valuable material, PDF documents, cases, and gives to the secretary. And secretary sends to all other senior people, please find attached some PDF articles by the director. Dissemination of information, sharing of information. How many of you have an intranet in your workplace? Intranet, a portal, a learning platform, a sharing method. So that's what is important. So you share new knowledge, isn't it? You share in your portal, in your local area network, in your intranet, and so on and so forth. Third one, spokesperson, madhya prakashak. Use of information to positively influence others. So the difference between leader and the spokesperson, leader can talk to motivate others. Spokesperson speaks to share what? Information. That's the difference. Like the cabinet media spokesperson, police media spokesperson, and we had Ajit Rohana, Kelly Ramukpel, Pavitra Vanyarati, Rajita, Uparajita Senaratna. We had different people, isn't it? They're all spokesperson, isn't it? Spokesperson. So what are the 3 roles emerging? Monitor, disseminator, spokesperson. And the final category, decisional. Decisional. How do you describe? Read out loud. Associated with Methods managers use to plan strategy and utilize resources to achieve goals. 4 roles emerge. Just one. Entrepreneur. I think you'll are so fortunate to listen to Dr. Ravi Lianagi on Saturday. And he talked about entrepreneur. There's a technical term, intrapreneur. Within the organization, you can still be having that entrepreneurial mindset, looking at new opportunities, looking at new possibilities. Anyone handling R&D, research and development? Anyone doing business development? Business development? No one? They are. So you're doing business development. Where? John Kills. Oh, so many John Kills. Again, very good. So they are all to do with entrepreneurial. And I think the waterfront project itself is a massive entrepreneurial project, isn't it? So you have a lot of opportunities within entrepreneur. These are about new projects or programs. Second one, disturbance handler. It can be nature made or human made. So say for example, a tsunami was a nature made disaster. So I remember assumed responsible for handling an unexpected event. Tsunami was unexpected. Boxing Day 2004, isn't it? So one of my friends was a financial controller of a large hotel chain. They had hotels down south. All those hotels got affected, hit badly by tsunami. So there were a lot of foreigners enjoying their holidays. So he had to coordinate in bringing those affected foreigners to BMICH. He hired a hall at BMICH, provided them mattresses, water, food and lodging. And then from BMICH, he had to coordinate them to airport based on their flight schedule. So was those activities in his job description as a financial controller? No. He had to rise to the occasion when the need arose. That's disturbance and something beyond what your job demands. And again, the man-made, human-made conflicts. Say you have a clash during elections, people are divided into political parties, and they bring that political spirit into workplace, and workplace is now divided. Canteen is having a clash where people argue, heated arguments, hitting each other. So you have to intervene and resolve. You have to intervene and solve that. So you have disturbance. Are we clear? Third one is thankless job, resource allocate. Assign resource between functions, divisions, unlimited demands and limited resources. So you have budget only to buy 10 computers, 20 people have asked for computers. So how can you distribute? You need to have a clear rationale, clear basis, clear justification. I remember at Unilever during that time, the best computer went to the senior most person who was least computer literate. And it was idling most of the time. See? The logic has to be there, isn't it? Otherwise, it's a thankless job. Finally, negotiator. You negotiate with, to find solution between managers, unions, customers. You negotiate for a best rate from a supplier. You negotiate for a best price from a customer. You negotiate for a better deal as a union with the manager. Isn't it? So many things. So what are the 4 roles emerging out loud? Entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, negotiate. So 3 plus 3 plus 4 altogether 10. Can I put it as summary? Those who in the back, sorry, I hope you can see that. So some summary, sample activities. And you don't have to follow them exactly, but some sample activity. Interpersonal, informational, decision. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Reflect on your past as a manager. How was I playing those roles? Find some instances where you played these roles. Some roles would have played more. Some roles would have played less. How did you play those 10 roles? Share with one another. I'm going to pick some volunteers there. 5 minutes of discussion. Have you played those roles in your current or past managerial career? Share with one another. All right. I hope you had sufficient time to go through. Can I invite 3 people to cover the 3 categories? Starting with interpersonal category. Who would like to take up the challenge? Share, have you played the 3 roles in that category? Who would like to yes, please. Shall you pass the microphone to her? The mic close by. Pass to her. And please introduce yourself first briefly and then tell us. Just check with it working. Yeah, I think it should work. No? Yeah. Yeah, it works. Yeah.
I am Dushya Ramamurthy, and I am graduate from University of Moratuva, Faculty of Architecture, Department of Town and Country Planning. And I graduated recently, and I started my professional life recently, like just 1 year.
Okay.
And I have interpersonal and informational and
No, first
assistant-
talk about interpersonal 3 roles.
yeah. In the interpersonal category, I worked as a liaison role. Like last
Now
year,
go in the sequence if possible. Figurehead, then
And-
leader.
I think I'm going to share what I based on my role, which I performed in my professional life. Like I not worked as a figurehead or leader. I'm a research coordinator of startup company, and
Now, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
So while you were working at, while you were studying at Faculty of Architecture,
yeah,
did they send you for any outside program? From faculty, you represent Faculty of Architecture for any outside Institute of Architects exhibition, any outside program?
yeah, I am currently doing my chartered in town planning also.
No, my point is that did you represent your faculty in outside?
No.
No.
Uh,
And do you have others working with you where you guide them, instruct them? No. Then you are talking about the liaison. Liaison role. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, as a startup company, I am just started my field, my profession as a research coordinator. I have to coordinate the activities in the inside of the organization, also the outside of the organization. For an example, last year we have done a large-scale national level survey in Sri Lanka. It's around 15,000 household survey around according to the World Food Program. We have identified who are the vulnerable people in the food scarcity, and also I have to manage more than 125 enumerators in the field around Sri Lanka, around 25 districts, and in the limited time period. And I worked as a liaison role to coordinating all the 125 field enumerators into my data analyst and also my boss. And in the informational level,
No, sorry. I think we will concentrate on interpersonal.
okay.
Thank you. Shall I give her a big hand? Can someone fill the gap, the figurehead and leader quickly? Figurehead and leader. Yes. Pass the microphone to her. Yes. Figurehead and leader. Interpersonal, the 2 others. Figurehead. Yes. Yeah, it's on. Yes. You go and attend fashion shows as a representative. Okay. Organization. So you go there in representing the organization as a chief operating officer. Then the leader told, how many are reporting to you? 18. So you are the leader of them. So how do you encourage them? Hmm. And you encourage them to reach their targets. Fantastic. Give her a big hand, big round of applause. Thank you. And we move into the second category, informational. Can someone do the needful for all 3 informational 3 roles? Informational, 3 roles. Everite, Deverite, informational, 3 roles. Come on. Yes, please. Can you pass the mic to her? Yes, there's a mic there. Yes. Tell us who you are first.
Hi everyone, I'm Nimesha. I work at KPMG. I
Do
work
you
in,
work with Mrs. Kamaya Pereira?
she works in the next division,
Next
but yes. So I work for due diligences basically. So going into the 3 roles under monitor. So when it comes to due diligences, we need to be sort of aware on the financial factors which are happening in the economy, as well as non-financial factors which will affect our clients, which we look into.
I think
Like-
which is a very serious role, isn't it? If you do a mistake, you might give the wrong recommendation, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And also even these world affairs, the current affairs, everything affects our client businesses. So we need to sort of monitor all of them when we work on a specific client and see how they affect the client's operations and their day-to-day activities as well. When it comes to the disseminator role, there are instances where we go for discussions with our partners and we sort of bring in information which the rest of our team does not know. And then we go back to our teams, we have a sort of a meeting and discussion, and then we disseminate that kind of information to
Share
them.
the information with them.
That's right, yeah.
And
uh,
spokesperson.
For spokesperson, sometimes we go into our client meetings and we go into meetings with our target companies and we sort of represent our firm, and then we sort of discuss the work that we have done.
And you might share your audit findings.
Yeah, we share our findings. We explain to them, we clear out questions to them on behalf of our team.
Excellent. Shall you give her a big hand? Give her an applause. Final opportunity, decisional, 4 roles. Who can? Yes, please. So, easy to pass the mic. Yes. Stand up and tell who you are very briefly.
Hi, I'm Chris. I work for an IT company. I'm a project manager.
So how do you play the 4 roles?
Right. Entrepreneur, I'd say developing new ideas for innovation.
Mhm.
In terms of product, I always try to give a user perspective. So we do a fitness app as well.
Mhm.
So to add, new exercises or things that would be more user friendly, navigation, things like that. Disturbance handler. So I work with Sri Lankan, Russian, UK, New Zealand teams. And so there's a lot of
You don't have a Ukraine team. No. Okay.
no. But there's a lot of cultural differences, and the most minute thing affects and causes
And of course, the
disturbance.
obvious difference, the time zone gap.
Yes, the time zone gap and then the attitude that comes and all of that. So I constantly find myself
So apart from Sri Lankan, who is your favorite?
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah, the Kiwis are much friendlier than the Russians. And so disturbance handling is something that I'm constantly caught in the middle doing. And then also reviewing and revising budget requests, starting from product to salary increments to say annual gatherings to all of that. For the Sri Lankan team, I help with that.
You have a limited budget, you have to
Yes.
rationalize your spending.
Correct. Yes. And reaching the final one is negotiator. So between the software engineers, we have front end and back end. And then we also have the product owners who directly deal with the client. So you have to manage the software engineers with the product owners, negotiate and come to a middle ground to make sure your client is happy at the end of the day, but your employees are
Sometimes the
also
client might
satisfied.
not know the exact requirement. You have to educate the client as well.
Correct. Yes, correct. So that you find a middle ground where everybody is, happy with the outcome and you're not kind of wearing out one or the other, and at the same time bringing the business profit. So, yes.
Fantastic. Give her a big round of applause. So I wish if I could listen to all of you, but remember this is something extremely important. There had been past examination questions also. What are the 10 roles described by Henry Mintzberg? And give your example of you played those 10 roles in 3 broad categories. So now, as I mentioned at the inauguration, now you know what you do as to why you are doing. Now you know whether you are doing something, what role I am playing. That's how you connect classroom with the workplace. Interesting, isn't it? Shall I give everyone a big hand? Big round of applause.